And we turn now to Kellyanne Conway, senior advisor to President-elect Trump. She is in Philadelphia this morning. Good morning, Kellyanne. Will Mr. Trump support a congressional investigation into this question of Russia being involved in the election?
Well, the president-elect will not interfere in the legislative branch in that way, but he's made very clear in an interview aired this morning on a different network, John, that he feels, there is a great deal of confusion, no on-the-record sources coming to a very bright-line conclusion about what happened here, and that he thinks that people are trying to relitigate the election. I mean, people like Senator McCain say that he has an interest in making sure that a foreign government hasn't tried to interfere with our electoral process, and I respect him enormously for saying that. But there are others who aren't so high-minded about cybersecurity. This is the latest attempt. First, it was Jim Comey's fault. Then we're going to have a recount. Then it's the alt-right's fault, and now it's Russian interference. And I would just tell you that there does seem to be a lack of certainty among some of these agencies, no on-the-source records. So maybe that's why congressional investigations are at hand.
Right. So I guess that's the question. Since there's confusion, you've said Mr. Trump won't get in the way of the executive branch. Will he cooperate to the extent it's ever required with these investigations, bipartisan now, that have been called for, to look into whether Russia was involved?
And how are you characterizing his cooperation?
Well, who knows where the investigation may lead, but just in terms of people gauging how seriously the president-elect takes this notion, leaving politics out of it, because you've now got senators on the Republican and the Democratic side saying this is worth looking into, if for no other reason than to clear up the confusion. Does Mr. Trump, in the spirit of that, want to cooperate with such an investigation?
Well, John, he's made very clear how he views this. I mean, we don't want any foreign government
But he said it's ridiculous. That seems to be pretty critical of the idea that it's worth looking into.
But let's be fair to him. What President-elect Trump said is ridiculous is this idea that it was meant to help him become president of the United States. There is no evidence of that. And if you go back and you listen to Clinton campaign spokespeople on your program and others, if you listen to their private briefings to media and others, they said very little about this. They were talking about how they were going to win the election before Election Day because of the early voting. False. They were going to have record turnout. If that were true, we would have won, and we did win. So I think the president-elect's point is that the conclusion some are making here, that the interference went to affecting the election result to try to defeat Hillary Clinton. That's what he's calling ridiculous.